You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, as you guys know, women in the Mountain West Conference don't want to play against a male. They do not want a male in their sport. And we're talking about Blair Fleming because the Mountain West Conference playoffs are actually starting. And these women actually filed a lawsuit to get Blair Fleming banned. And guys, when it comes to these woke judges, if you actually get a Biden-appointed judge, that's going to tell you everything you need to know, folks, because this judge actually pretty much told women to go F off and sided with Blair Fleming. This should not be a surprise. Now, I didn't know what judge was actually going to be hearing this case, but now that I actually know which judge it was, and this judge, guys, just got appointed by the Democrat-controlled Congress. Now, this is another reason, guys, why I believe that the Democrats lost big time in this election. Kamala was for they, them. President Trump was for you. I really can't believe this, but I'm not too surprised considering how woke the Biden administration has been. And now the women have a choice. They can actually play against a man or not play against a man because the federal courts, man, did nothing to protect these women and their spaces. And guys, they should have known right from the beginning, guys, that they were going to lose this. Why? Well, look at this. Look at this, guys. Trans volleyball player legal hearing opened with long and heated debate over what pronouns to use. The judge who agreed to use she, her pronouns was appointed by Biden earlier this year. And Outkick actually says that it was like a 30-minute long conversation about the pronouns. And as soon as this judge agrees to use she, her pronouns, the women had no chance. No chance whatsoever, folks. Let's get into it. Trans SJSU volleyball player eligible for Mountain West tournament as judge denies motion. The Mountain West Conference volleyball tournament will proceed as planned and feature transgender San Jose State player Blair Fleming after a federal judge denied a motion for injunctive relief that was part of a lawsuit against the conference. Yeah, actually filed by women. Judge S. Cato Cruz, a Joe Biden nominee who was confirmed along party lines by the Democrat-controlled Senate in February, denied a series of motions that sought to disqualify Fleming from playing in the tournament and to negate losses by teams that forfeited games against SJSU during the regular season. Yeah. Now, I believe that there were actually 6 forfeits this season. And SJSU actually finished with a 12-6 record. 6 of those wins came via forfeit. So the games that SJSU actually played, they were 6-6. Yeah. The judge, who spent the first 30 minutes of Thursday's emergency hearing discussing which pronouns to use when talking about Fleming, also ruled against Utah State joining the lawsuit. So Utah State got denied from joining. Wow. Quote, the movements that failed to meet their burden to show irreparable harm, a likelihood of success on the merits, or that the balance of harms or equities is in their favor, Cruz wrote in his decision. While many media outlets have refused to name Blair Fleming or, quote, out the volleyball player as transgender, and instead say that SJSU allegedly has a transgender player on the roster, it's not even allegedly. I mean, Blair Fleming's real name is actually Braden, a male. The judge noted that the defendants have essentially admitted what Outkick has reported since April. Blair Fleming was born male. Quote, no defendant disputed that SJSU rosters a trans woman volleyball player. That came from the judge. Yeah, the leftist judge. That's not actually standing up for women, by the way. Not. Remember, Biden actually tried to change Title IX to include gender identity. Luckily, the Supreme Court shot that down. But this woke judge right here doesn't care. Despite that acknowledgement, Cruz wrote that Title IX must include protection for trans-identifying people, citing precedent set by the 10th Circuit and the Supreme Court. The movant's Title IX theory raised in this case directly conflicts with Title IX's prohibition on discrimination against trans individuals, he wrote. The rationale is consistent with the Biden administration's rewrite of Title IX that changed the language in Title IX from sex, which is biological, to gender identity, which is not rooted in science. Yeah, because guys, I can actually say I identify as a cat. But guess what? I'm not a cat. I can put on, makeup and stuff like that, wear like a furry costume. I'm not a cat. Not a cat at all. This is crazy. Cruz ruling that forfeits by several conference teams will continue to count as losses for them and wins for San Jose State, which means the Spartans will be the number 2 seed in a tournament that starts on Wednesday. They'll get a bye in the first round and play Friday in the semifinals. This is another thing the woke judge wrote. Quote, the threatened injury to the movants, if an injunction issues, is outweighed by the MWC's interest in holding the upcoming MWC tournament without an 11-hour shakeup to its currently planned structure, Cruz wrote. The relief requested with the emergency motion would risk confusion and upend months of planning and would prejudice at a minimum defendants and other teams participating in the tournament depending on the results of any reseeding. Yeah. He goes on. One more thing here. Finally, on the motion for Utah State to join the lawsuit as plaintiff, Cruz ruled that they did not show irreparable harm and denied his claim. Wait a minute. A girl can actually be hurt if this male player spikes the ball in the face. We've seen that before. He says, quote, the movants have failed to meet their burden to show irreparable harm, thus justifying denial of the emergency motion and USU's motion partially joining in it. Cruz wrote, wow, this is insane, folks. But coming from a Biden-appointed judge and a Democrat-controlled Senate actually putting this judge into power, I'm not surprised. But keep in mind, folks, that these Democrat judges are not going to fight for you, women. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. You know what? You guys need to share this video, man, with your Democrat voting females. Yeah, the people that voted for Kamala Harris. You see right here, man, that these Democrats are not protecting you females. They're protecting the men, the T's. Even the judges' votes are for they, them. They're not for you. Gonna leave right there, guys. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we will catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.